My name is Kasha Yang, and this is my presentation for the teacher-classmate theory assignment. And the theory that I chose for this assignment is the social judgment theory. The social judgment theory is the perception and evolution of an idea by comparing it with current attributes. And according to Muzaffar Sharif, who was a social psychologist at the University of Oklahoma, this subconscious sorting of ideas occurs at the moment of perception. And we weigh new ideas by comparing them to the current views that we have. And this analysis was called the social judgment involvement approach, or the social judgment theory. And Sharif saw attitude as latitude, and he wrote that an individual stand is not represented adequate as a point along a continuum, and different peoples espousing the same position may differ considerable in their tolerance around this point. And he saw attitude as a combination of three zones, which were acceptance, rejection, and non-commitment. The latitude of acceptance is the range of ideas a person may see as reasonable or worthy of their consideration. And the latitude of rejection is the range of ideas a person may see as unreasonable or come to object. And the latitude of non-commitment is the range of ideas that a person sees neither acceptable nor objectable, and usually the person is akin to being marked as undecided or no opinion. And another thing that should be considered is or it's important to consider is the ego involvement, which is the importance or centrality of an issue to a person's life, and is often demonstrated by membership in a group with a known stand. And usually some questions that are asked is, how central is this issue to you, or how how important is it, or does it have any personal significance? And Sharif stated that our favorite position anchors all our other thoughts about the topic. And so however way you think about stuff, or just issues that are related to that topic, will be influenced by that favorite position that you take. People with low ego involvement are more easily swayed to either side, or at least they have more potential, as they have no cemented opinion or stand around an issue. And people with high ego involvement may be less likely to be swayed to different side, as those who hold extreme opinions on either side of an issue most likely care deeply about it, and so it would be harder to actually get them to change their opinion about it. And when passions run deep, radical opinions are common, and there's little tolerance for diversity. And so Sharif claims that people use their own anchored attitudes as a comparison point when hearing descriptive messages. And he believed in a parallel between systematic and biases and judgments we make in physical worlds and way we determine others' attitudes. He also hypothesized a contrast effect, which is when someone hears a message about a topic they are passionate about it. Hears about a topic they are passionate about. If the message is different from their point, even if the message is only a bit different or strays a little bit away from their point of view, from how they would from their standards, they may judge it as if that message is really different from their original point. And so contrast is the perceptual error whereby people judge messages that fall within their latitude of rejection and farther from their anchor than they really are. And highly committed people tend to have larger latitudes of rejection, and thus ideas that fall within those ranges are perceived as discrepant. And assimilation is the perceptual error whereby people judge messages that fall within their latitude of acceptance as less discrepant from their anchor than they really are. And this usually happens when a message falls within the latitude of acceptance. So, according to Sheriff's theory, once someone has judged a new message as within their latitude of acceptance, they adjust their attitude to somewhat accommodate the input. And the greater the discrepancy, the more hearers will adjust their attitudes. The message that persuades the most, messages that usually persuades the most is or are the ones that are most discrepant from the person's original standpoint, but still in the range of their latitudes of acceptance or non-commitment. And if judged that a new message falls within the latitude of rejection, a person will or may also adjust their attitude, but more of in a way that is far from what they think the speaker is advocating for. And this kind of falls under the boomerang effect, which is the attitude change in the opposite direction of what the message advocates. Listeners are driven away from rather than drawn to an idea. And the only space for volition in social judgment theory is the choice of alternative messages available to the person who's trying to persuade. And so the social judgment theory, it focuses it focuses a bit more on effectiveness. However, it may also bring up ethical concerns. According to German philosopher Immanuel Kant, we should consider what is ethical before adjusting what we say to support our own stand. And Kant believed that every time we speak, we have a moral obligation to speak only the truth, and there is no such thing as a less severe circumstance and stuff. And he came to this position through the logic of his categorical imperative, which is the duty without exception, act only on that maxim which you can will to become universal law, and the method of determining what is right from wrong by thinking through ethical valence of an act regardless of motive. And so if someone is trying to convince another person, they may try to bend the truth a bit, as it may seem to be of little moral consequences. However, the categorical imperative states that you shouldn't ever do that, as there are no exceptions, and even what some people think, even like small white lies, even those are no exceptions to it, as Kant said, we should only speak the truth. And so that is the end of my presentation, and I thank you for listening and for watching, and I hope that it was enjoyable and informative and helpful, and So thank you very much.